Hello everyone and welcome guys to a brand new video, and today we're here on iRacing. Yeah, something a little bit different than I thought I'd bring to the channel. Recently I decided I would have a little dabble in iRacing. If you want to try and use, I think there's a code currently going on if you're watching this video at some point fairly recently after it was uploaded. If you use code PR-GRC, it should give you 3 months for $6 overall, so that's why I have decided to, have a little go into this, see what it is like, and really, just decide whether I want to try and take up iRacing in the future. But today we're here, actually, as you can probably tell by the title, for my first day on iRacing. This wasn't the first race I'd done. Unfortunately, the first few races I'd done were actually quite boring on the whole. I think 3 of them I basically just won from pole, and then the other one I got taken out at like turn 3. So unfortunately, spent the rest of the race, I think I finished in about P9 overall in the race there. But yeah, this was, as I said, the most interesting race overall from my first day. I think I did, overall about 5 races, which were really, really good fun. And I must say, so far, this is a really, really fun sim. Today, I'm in the Mazda Cup car around Okayama. I think this is sort of like a fairly common car track combination for, obviously, the rookie classes. So obviously, this is, fairly overall easy as a car to drive. It is, when it tries to snap on you, it does really, really go quite quickly. Obviously, I think that would be something that's sort of just, you have to learn with practice, but it is so much fun, as you can see there, fight in the back end as we come down in towards the end of split 3 here. Overall, this lap wasn't one of my finest. It was about a second just about off my PB. Overall, I felt, my fastest lap there was pretty damn good for a first day, of 1 minute 47.1 or 1 minute 47.2, I think it was, which I don't know how that stacks up against most people, but for me, that felt pretty damn good. I would sure there's probably people around here that could probably get, sort of 3-4 seconds of that quicker. I would have thought maybe even more than that, but I don't know as of that. But yeah, coming out of the final corner though, down towards the line on my qualifying run, as I said, only about a second off my PB there, which wasn't ideal, but it also wasn't particularly bad. It generally seemed to be. I think in the first 3 races I did, I outqualified everyone else by 1.3 seconds, so certainly was quite interesting. I sort of came into this with a confidence. Having a look at the results though, in the end I was in P3 for the start of this race. 2 guys just managed to break into the 1 minute 47s there. I probably could have done so if I hadn't made so many mistakes on my lap, but I was fairly tired at this point. But here we are then for my race around Okayama then, ready for the 5 lights on the grid. Well, sorry, the 4 lights on the grid, and it is lights out and away we go. And green flag racing here today, 10 laps around Okayama, and ready for some hopefully exciting racing. In terms of the start, got off to a fairly clean start. Nothing too much to comment on that. The red car just in front of me, you'll have to watch out for him during this race. He can be, he likes to play it very, very defensive and likes, sort of move around quite a lot on the race circuit there. As you instantly saw, I nearly ran up into the back of him there. Again, a bit better drive out of turn 2 though, now down. Yes, it's not a straight, but there's sort of quite a few kinks in it, but we're going to try and have a look to the outside of him here. He is just about going to give me the room, because he's going to try and go down the inside of the blue car there as we come into the hairpin there. We're going to try and get the switchback on the pair of them there, get as close as we possibly can, all over the back of them there, clip the curb on the inside there, and now it's a drag race between myself and the blue car here. Really, really going to try and get alongside of there. You can see the race engineer telling me it is clear now, but now we're alongside the red car actually, so we're slightly behind the blue one in the slipstream here. He goes very, very defensive. We're just going to try and brake just before the water tower there, sweep right around the outside of the blue car there. He got pinched in, nearly made a bit of contact with the number 4 car there, but we now move up into P2 of this Grand Prix here, which is, well, I say Grand Prix, this race, which, overall quite decent start. Really don't want to, I'm not massively confident, so I don't want to be trying to fight as much as possible. I'm not the best on this so far, to be able to confidently race with other drivers here, but, we were getting there slowly but surely on this first day here, and still trying to, hassle the number 4 car for the race lead here. He plays it very, very nicely defensive through the 3rd last corner there. We're going to have to back out of that as of right now here, but we've survived the first lap of the race, and that's usually where incidents do happen. You seem to find you either get away absolutely scot-free, or you just get absolute pile drive to Narnia on the odd occasion there. But yeah, overall, coming into this, I think my I rating was about 2.91. I could have made D class after 3 races until I decided it would be funny to drift over the line, and then unfortunately picked up 2 incident points, which means I just missed out on the D-Class license, because I was at about 2.97 at that point there on the safety racing. So it was a bit frustrating, to do that, but still, good fun to still be fighting around in these Mazda cars all over the back of the number 4 here, almost pushing him. I do just about give him a tiny bit of contact there That's actually going to count to 0 car contact points, though, as it was, I think, a very, very light bump, to say the least, there. And now we're going to try and get a bit of a better run out of the hairpin there. Keep nice and close to the apex there. Going to give myself a little bit of a shorter run, but a little bit of a slower run. But luckily, in the slipstream here, it does seem to be fairly potent on iRacing here. So we're going to try and have a look down towards the inside, in towards the next corner here. What are we going to be able to do into the hairpin? One of the probably the best braking zones on this circuit. He brakes a little bit earlier than myself. We get it nicely hooked up on the apex there, and now up into the lead of the race we go. And now it's just a case of trying to hold on to it here. Make sure we don't make too many mistakes over these next few corners, especially as you can see coming out of the next corner there, using all the track space. Really got to try and make the circuits as wide as possible here. But on the other hand, you don't want to be picking up a penalty either, so there's a little bit of risk and reward here. But now moving on, 1 lap later, actually onto lap 3 of this race. You can see we're still holding on to the race lead at the moment there, but the back end is starting to come in a little bit loose on myself. Really trying to push the car as much as possible here, and just pushing it ever so slightly too much there, just about keep it from going in the wall there. But unfortunately, we have lost a whole host of positions there. The top 2 go through, 3rd and 4th also going to be able to go through there. But unfortunately for me, the number 9 car actually locks up his front brakes there, makes a tiny bit of contact with the car ahead. So back up into P4 of this race we go, and now we really need to try and make up a bit of a fight back here. The top 2 are still fighting, so we can only hope they sort of slow each other down just a bit. But yeah, down all the way into P4 of this race. Certainly not what I would have wanted. Really trying to make sure that we do make it up to D class. I would think, obviously I don't know this sim too well, but I would think, being able to make it to D class in under 5 races and in 1 day, I don't think is too bad whatsoever here. Now, 1 lap later, onto lap 5 of the race, the midpoint of this race, all over the back of the number 5 car, and is certainly just a tiny bit slower than myself. We're almost pushing him out of the hairpin there. He just broke that little bit early, but you can see on the delta the gaps are really coming down. The top 2 starting to really hold each other up here, which is playing into my hands quite nicely here. In the slipstream of the number 8, though, as we come down this long back straight here. Might try and have a look at a little bit of a late lunge here. He broke quite late as well, but fortunately he did notice me on the inside there. Overall, it was a little bit of a lungy kind of move there. Not really, I haven't really done too many of those on this sim so far, but yeah, overall, I don't think, that was particularly crazy there. Luckily for me, he did see me coming there, losing the back end ever so slightly once more. They're having to go full opposite lock there. The number 8 thinks about going back up the inside there, but thinks better of it as we do hold on around the outside onto that position there. And now you can see the gap to the top 2 is still, it's staying around sort of 2 seconds at this moment of time, so we are still certainly closing up that gap to them, and this is really important to see as we move on now to lap 7 of this race. And this is really starting to heat up between the top 2. You can see on the delta though, the car behind has dropped down, so he's now 2 seconds back, so he's certainly not really got the raw pace to be able to fight right at the very top there. The blue car going to try and look down the inside there. The red car gives him a whole lot of room there. Very respectful racing. I think everyone sort of wants to survive the rookies there, but we're going to get much better drive there, fighting the back end on the exit there. We're going to now move up into P2 of the race, and now we're in a drag race with the blue car. They just see him in the rearview mirror popping into sight. They're still side by side. I'm going to try and give him a bit of a squeeze there, just making sure that we don't give him, we're respectful, but we don't give him all the room in the world there. And now we move back up into P2 of this race here, all over the back of the number 4 here, who's starting to fishtail just a little bit there. Dip a wheel on the grass though, all full opposite lock there, somehow just able to keep that face in the right direction there, and that was very close there. Still the back end trying to snap out on me, and that is one thing about Okiyama, the elevation change does sort of play against the car just a little bit, and it's so satisfying when you get it right there. But the 4 in front of me runs a little bit deep there, to completely spins back in front of the track there, and we're just going to be able to avoid that there. The number 11 just get a tiny bit of damage from that, but he's able to hold on, and he's still less than a second behind me here. And this race so far has been very exciting here as we come down through the final couple of corners here on to the third last lap of this race, lap 8 of 10 here. We've now got a couple of seconds lead over the cars behind me here, and now it's just about trying to make sure that we remain consistent between now and the very end. But on to lap 9, the rear tyres are really starting to go now. You can just see fighting the steering as much as I possibly can, to keep this car facing in the right direction here. And the number 11 seems to have kept his tyres in a little bit of better shape there. He's going to send one down the inside there. We spot him on the inside there, so we do give him the room. Try and go for a bit of a switchback move there. He plays it very, very defensive into the next couple of corners here. Now we really need to try and play the waiting game here. Just try and force an error out of the number 11 as we come now down in towards the final couple of corners of the penultimate lap of this race. Going to leave you on board with the whole final lap here, as this could, you know, potentially result in quite a good little fight here between the pair of us there. You can see the white flag out now is out in this race, and the gap as we move on into the final lap is just 0.2 seconds. As you can see, we've got a little bit of better drive there. Dummy to go to the inside in towards T1 there. He's going to just brake a little bit later than he probably would have liked there, as we're now going to try and get a bit of a switchback through turn 1. It will leave me on the outside for turn 2 there, so we're not going to be able to make that position stick. And unfortunately for me, he does a very, very good job there of keeping it parked on the apex there through turn 2. He's going to be able to hold on to that position for now and not really lose out too much of the run either, as we now come down into the first hairpin here. We think about going for a move there, think better of it. He once again brakes very, very late there, able to get his car just about hooked on the apex here. Now we were hoping we could try and get a bit of a better run down in towards the hairpin here, and this appears to be what we're able to do at this moment in time. Card on the left hand side there, stay right, you know, our race engineer is telling me here as we now come down this long back straight here. Make sure, you know, we don't try and squeeze him too much, but we do make sure, you know, we're pretty clear that we're going for this move. Try and get it hooked up on the apex there, run a little bit deep there. That's going to give him the chance to try and come back at me there. Tiny bit of contact, I think, if any. Actually, I'm not too sure if there was any contact made between the pair of us there, but now back up into the lead of the race we go. But through this corner once more, they just see the back end all over the shop here, and now he's going to be able to get a bit of a better run there. We're going to try and squeeze him to the inside there, full back out to the outside there. We do give him the racing room in the end. He parks it just on that apex once more. That goes very, very defensive in towards these final couple of corners here. And what is going to be able to happen out of the second to last corner here? Just going to try and make any sort of move we can. Focus on getting a good run out of the final corner there. He's not got a particularly good run out of the penultimate corner there. Turns in just a little bit early there. We should be able to get better drive out of the final corner here. The checkered flag is now out, but unfortunately for me, the slipstream just isn't strong enough there. We haven't got a much better run than him, and across the line we come for P2 in the end of that race. But as I said, you know, that was so much fun, so exciting throughout that entire race. You know, credits to the number 11 car. You know, it was a really, really good battle, and overall he seemed to play a bit more of the patient game there, and just, you know, went for the moves right where it really matters. You can see coming down towards the finish line there, just nothing separating us. If I have a look at the results, I think it was just over 1/10 of a second separating us between the pair of us by the end of that race. But hopefully, you know, you guys have enjoyed this video. As I said, you know, I've got iRacing for 3 months, so I'm certainly going to try and record a few more races on here if you guys do want to see that. But thank you all so much for watching. Hit that like button if you did enjoy this and you want to see more iRacing on the channel, and I will see you guys next time for a brand new video.